Hi guys, and welcome back to House Rules, our family's board game channel. I'm Aurora.
I'm Faith.
I'm Victoria.
And I'm Jeremy.
Today's episode we are going to discuss our top 10 board games to play with a larger group.
Yeah, so we have recently had a couple game days and where we had more people than the average 4 players. And sometimes it's cool you can split off into groups, but we thought it'd be cool to talk about games that will take on a larger group all one setting that aren't necessarily party games, but I suppose you can still call them party games. So there's really no particular order in these games, so it's not necessarily a top 10 list, but here's 10 games that we would recommend if you have larger groups of people to play games with.
Faith, why don't you start us off?
My game is Between Two Castles by Mad King Ludwig.
Of the Mad King Ludwig.
Yeah.
And it's by Stonemeir Games. And it could play 3 to 7 people. And you work with the people on your left and your right to build a castle.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So it's Between the Castles. You are working with your neighbor to your left and your right to build a castle. And it's a tile drafting game where at the beginning everybody will collect a certain number of tiles and on everybody at the same time. So that's really great because there's not a lot of downtime in the game. You're engaged doing something the whole time. You'll pick two tiles out of your stack that you have and then pass them one direction. And then you will work with the person on your left and your person on your right. Whatever. And decide where the best place to put the castle or the tile for that castle is. Each tile that comes for the castle, or that you put in the castle, has a specific place it wants to go, a specific way it's going to score points, and maybe even little added bonuses throughout the game. The winner of the game is really cool because it's the person who scored the highest low-scoring castle, meaning that you take the score of this castle on this side with this partner and the score of this castle with this partner, and whichever was the lowest scoring one, that's your final score for the game. And whoever has the highest score for that is the winner. Mm-hmm. Just like most Stonemeir games, there's a great insert which keeps everything super organized, and it's the more people you have playing this game, the better it is.
Yeah.
So we've played it with 6.
Yeah, I think that was the max.
6 people so far. Mm-hmm. So, and like I said, you're just constantly, oh, where are you going to do this one at? Where are you going to do this one at? Okay, then you go over here. What are you going to do this one at? And so you play over 2 rounds. Once all your tiles are passed around one direction, everybody grabs new tiles, and you go around the other direction. And then the game scores. So.
And you have to think of, like, you pick 2 tiles, and you have to think, okay, so I have, this one would be the best for this, but this tile would also be good for this one.
Yeah, the dilemma
of
the bad draw.
Uh-huh.
So, so, like I said, there's no real particular order in this list of games. It's really just, here's great games to play with higher player counts. Mm-hmm. So, Between Two Castles of the Mad King Ludwig. Easy for me to say, right? What do you got?
One of my games that I chose was Taco, Cat, Goat, Cheese, Pizza. It's by Dolphin Games. So, in the game, basically, it's a card game, and the whole deck is split into how many players there are, and there's no real count.
Right. And
there are different types of cards. There's taco, a cat, a goat, a cheese, and a pizza.
Very original.
Yeah. And to start the game, they flip away from them kind of quickly, and they have to say taco, and then it kind of goes around, and it's on the card, so if you forget what you're supposed to say, you look at the card, and then you flip it, and if you say the wrong thing, you take the pile of cards.
Right. Each player in order would say the first place was taco, the next person was a cat, goat, cheese, pizza. So, and then it kind of just repeats itself until the card that is flipped over matches the word said.
And then you rush your hands.
Yep,
to slap
everybody
it.
rushes to slap the card.
And then there's some special rules, like there's a narwhal and a gorilla and a groundhog.
Yeah. And we've talked about this game a few times on some of our different videos. It's kind of we play it quite a bit, so it's kind of popular around here.
Yeah. We're pros at the game.
So, and that what we said, it plays up to about 8 people. I think 3 to 8 people.
Yeah, 3 to 8 people.
So it's a quick one too. It's fun. A lot of trash talking. So, all right, Mom, what do you got for Victoria? Geez, we're back to Mom. I don't know what I want to call you half the time.
My first game that I recommended is Konito by Iello Games, and it plays up to 12 players, and players work as a team to move their pawn around the board. They do this by completing different challenge cards, and the challenge cards are, they vary from finish a song lyric, finish a quote, song lyric, or something like that, and one team member will give hints to the other player and try and get as many points as they can so that they can race around the board. Right,
and the board is kind of modular. You can kind of set it up into a few different ways, and each spot on the board, I think you roll a die, right? And it tells you to move forward that way.
Oh, yes.
By a color. So the challenge is based on the color of the tile that you start on. And, like she said, then you just read off a card and try to get as many down the line. Oh, it's not a die, it's how many you finish.
Yes.
How many challenges you finish on the cards.
Yeah. It's the one you're already on, you read that one.
And, so some of them are super hard, like, you might say carpe, and then your partner has to finish, or somebody on your team has to finish that quote, or hit me, baby, finish the song lyric. And you can kind of tell them that's a song lyric, stuff like that.
Yeah.
We just played this, we've had this game for
but we've only played
6 years.
And we've only played it like twice.
So, but we really had a lot of fun with it. I would recommend playing with it. You can play it says 2 on the box, but
it says all ages, but the girls didn't understand some of the song lyrics or didn't have some of the history references. Right. But it was still fun.
Yeah, you can play it with some older family kids, and there was still some of the green challenges actually are okay. But yeah, the more people you get in this, the more fun you're gonna have with it, because everybody just be shouting stuff out, and there's a little bit of a charades aspect to this one.
A little bit,
yeah.
Without, if you've watched other videos, So yeah, you can act things out. You can give them hints, but kind of like those games like Taboo, or can't say specific things that relate to whatever they're trying to guess. So it was super fun. We had a good time with that one. All right, the first game I want to talk about is one game that we have a blast with, and this game will play at least 2 people to how many ever of the expansion boxes you have, and each one does 4 people, or can hold up to 4 more people, plus mini expansions. But it's Red Dragon Inn. Super fun game. Yeah, you get into it. You have one character, and you've come back from your D&D adventure. I think we talked about this on a recent video too. So I won't get into too much detail, but you're playing a character who's come back from a D&D adventure or some type of adventure like that. You've cleaned yourself up. You've got your money. You've got your drinks, and you're all just sitting around having a good time, arguing with each other, punching each other, gambling your money away, and the last person standing wins. So this is another one where the more fun the group is going to be able to play, get into character a little bit. If you're playing Gog, the half-orc barbarian thing, and he's oh crap, that's gonna be the thumbnail. The more fun you'll have with it. But anyway, like I said, we've talked about this one. You should really check out Red Dragon Inn, because like I said, you have a few of the expansions. You can play as many people as you're limited by the number of characters you have available. Mm-hmm. So
Red Dragon Inn is a Slugfest game.
Yep. Oh, I should have said that. I should have said Slugfest game. Anyway, let's move on to our next game. What about you, Faith? Let's do you.
My other game is Seven Wonders, and it's a card drafting game. Each person will pick a card and lay it down, and then they'll flip it over, and you'll collect that resource or whatever. And there's different kinds, like military, science,
Yep. Civilization cards are the blue ones.
guilds, civilization, and the
resources.
Resources.
Yep. So yeah, no, it's Seven Wonders is by Repos Productions.
And it's up to 7.
Yeah, it'll play up to 7 players. Like she said, it's a card drafting game with you're given a wonder. Now the wonder plays a part. You can build it, or you don't have to. It's not required to win. Some of the wonders will give you extra resources or extra things you're allowed to do during the game. It might give you points. But yeah, like she said, it's simultaneous. You draft the card, you move your deck over to the one side, you flip over your card when everybody's ready, and you either have had a resource card, which is going to let you build other cards in the future. You're going to score just points off of that card. One of the cards might give you money or make buying resources from your neighbors cheaper. Science, broken. Unless I do it, then it's not so broken. Military, in between each. It's played over 3 rounds. Ages is what they're called. I do this a lot too. But the first age, you'll pass the cards to your left. Then the second age, you'll pass them to the right. And then the third age, back to the left. And then the game's over. And again, I think we've talked about this game before too. And it's been out for a long time, but it's probably one of my top 1 or 2, if not my favorite game ever. So
You've said this your
good
favorite
choice.
game a lot.
Anyway, all right. So 7 Wonders by Repos Production. Like I said, it'll play up to 7 players. So 3 to 7 players is probably the best count for it. So, Aurora, let's go back to you again.
Another one of my games is Tsuro. It's by Calliope Games. We have a lot of Calliope games.
Yes, we do.
We do. And so Tsuro is a tile placing game. And so you start on one of these little ticks around the board. And you start with 3 tiles. And there's this little token. And when you place a tile, it has to connect with that little tick on the board. And then you move your your little dragon piece to the edge of where you want to go, or like how it lines up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you draw up to 3, and then the next tile you play, it has to line up with your tile.
Your previous tile,
Yeah, to go somewhere else.
Yep.
And this game plays up to 8 people.
Yep, that's right. So, Tsuro, again, this is a popular game for us too here, but it plays up to 8 people, like you said, and it's last person standing. So, you kind of put your fate in other people's hands depending on how many players you have sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
If your token is sitting on the edge of one of the tiles and somebody lines theirs up with that, you're going to follow that, plus they're going to follow theirs. If you bump into each other, you're out.
And you could both fall.
Yep. If you fall off the board.
Yeah, if you have to go off the board, you have to go off the board, you lose.
Yep. One of the rules in the game is don't go off the board unless you have to. That's your only move. So, Tsuro, that's a really good one by Calliope Games. You're right. We do have a lot of Calliope games. Tsuro actually has Tsuro of the Seas, Tsuro, and Tsuro's Phoenix Rising.
Yeah.
So, definitely, they all play very similar. I think they each have their own little special mechanic on top of that. But anyway, that's your second one, right? So, what do you got?
My second game is Cartographers by Thunderworks Games, and it plays from 1 to 99. It's a travel... No, it's not a travel game.
It could be.
It could be. It is our other episode.
Yeah.
It fits the criteria for that. But Cartographers is a flip and write game. So the theme is that you are one of the queen's cartographers, and you are set out to draw a map of the kingdom, and over various seasons, you will flip a card, and you have to write on your map the different topography, terrain for that area. So
There's like trees and
there's
houses,
trees,
water, with the land, and then there's like
A house?
yeah,
Yeah.
and then there's like a monster which the other person next to you
Yeah.
does that one.
But yeah, there's monster
Yeah.
cards that you'll trade papers, and then someone will draw a monster on it.
Yeah. And it's really only played up to 4 rounds. Each season has a timer on it. And so each card has a timer value. And when that meets or beats the season's time, you go on to the next round. And each scoring area
Each one will
round.
score 2 twice.
Yeah. So each decree, is that what they're called? I think it's called decrees.
Yes.
I think we talked about that.
Yeah.
So, and I think there's 4 or 5 for each style of card. So style of card is what I think I tried to say. And so there's quite a lot of replayability. Plus you can flip the map over for the base game. There's a couple there's one box expansion that has a new map, but new cards, hero cards, and new monster cards. And then I think we've seen a couple just player mats that change up the style of map that you can use. Just kind of change up the strategy. So, but yeah, you can even print and play this one, I think, for up to 99 people.
Yeah.
So,
A lot of people.
yeah. So I think the Brothers Murph used to do that. And maybe I'll put a link in the description for their channel. You should check them out. They're a good time to watch. So, but they used to play this on one of their streams, and they just say go to the website and download or print off the map, and we'll flip over the cards for you, and you can just play along. So, good times. It's to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my next game is Masqurade. So this is a game that will play up to 13 people with just the base box. It is by Repos Productions. And depending on the player count in this game, certain characters will come out. The queen, the king, the judge, the cheat, the
There's
bishop.
a witch and a bishop,
Right.
like a royal court.
And there's peasants and stuff too. So but depending on the player count, the game will tell you to put certain characters in based on whether they bring coins into the game, out of the game, coins being your points too. And the first person to 13 points wins. Or if you have the cheat,
It's 10.
it's 10. So at first everybody has their card and everybody knows who everybody is. But then the cards get flipped over face down. And on your turn, you will decide whether you're going to, 1, trade cards with somebody, or potentially trade cards. But I would take a card from Faith, and I would put it on the table and secretly shuffle it up, or just flap it back and forth. But they don't know that. And then give them back face down. So now, whatever card I had, if I had the king and she had the peasant, she doesn't know whether I'm the king or the peasant, or she's the king or the peasant. So, in the very first 4 rounds of the game, that's kind of like the forced action those people have to take. But after that, you can either decide to do that action, or you can the wussy one, look at your card.
But then it's almost guaranteed that someone will
Trade your card.
Trade your
yeah.
card.
And then there's one where you announce what you are.
Right, you declare. So I would say, I'm the king. And then going around the table, everybody would answer, yes, I'm the king, or no, I'm not the king. Everybody who says that they are that particular character flips their card over. The winner gets to use the power. Everybody else has to pay to the kind of the punishment into the center.
But if you don't, then everybody has to pay. Like if you're the king, but you say you're not, you don't. Yeah.
It's a little bit of risk taking.
Yeah, it's a little bit of bluffing, a little bit too, a little bit of memory, but there is one of the characters can take everything out of the center. The judge, I think, can take it out of the center. But like I said, each character has a power, and depending on what the player count is, and what the characters are out, they'll all do different things. So, and it'll determine who does that. If you're really smart, you can figure out the best way to put your own characters out so that there's an even mix of stuff. But I just go by what it tells me to put out there. There is one expansion for sure that I know that we have, and it'll play up to, I think, 8 more or 13 more people. So haven't used that yet. Haven't been able to get, 26 people together to play this game yet. But it's utter chaos. So if you're into utter chaos and you have quite a few people, get it. Have a good time. So Masqurade by Repos Production.
That's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people. So the last two, we're just going to free form this one. Who wants to go with the next one?
Me.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
There's another game for large groups.
Another game is Dead Last, and it's you pick a color and you have everyone else's
Sorry.
color in your hand, and then you have to look at each other and pick up the same colors as everyone else.
Dead Last is by Smirk&Dagger. It'll play up from 6 to 12 players. Like she's, I think you were trying to say anyway. Everybody's given a hand of cards, and it's the outside of it has a color on it. I might be green, purple, blue, pink, whatever. There's a little standee that we have out in front of the table in front of us, and your hand of cards has all of the colors of all the people that are going to be playing the game.
Yep.
On everybody at the same time will pick a card, and when everybody's done picking a card, you'll flip it over. The fun part of this game is doing one of these numbers. And trying to
that off you. Obvious.
yeah. The person with the majority of the cards face up is eliminated from that round. I think we've talked about this game a couple times too. It's super fun with it. We just played it twice last weekend. Oh man, so fun. Again, utter chaos.
Yeah.
You know, you can save yourself with your ambush card, your own color card. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Or you knock yourself out just as fast, like every time. So
You actually have the weapon backwards. Oh no!
So that's Dead Last. Go on and get that one. There you go.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
For sure. Well, you did the last one.
Our last
Number
one.
10.
Our last one is Codenames. It's by
What was it?
Codenames.
Codenames.
By CGE.
Yep.
We actually have it right back there. Not the wall. And so there's a bunch of different tiles with words on them, and it's a grid which
Yep, you set it up in a 5x5 grid.
5x5 grid.
There is 2 people that count as the, what are they called? The operators or the...
I think they're operators.
Okay. We'll call them operators for this film or this episode. We'll figure it out. We just say the 2 people that are going to call it the words.
Okay.
And then everybody else forms 2 groups of them. There's a blue side and a red side. And for the base game, it's just words. There's Disney one. There's Duet. There's
A Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of them.
Yeah.
But you have a little card between the 2 operators, and we can see where the blue cards are supposed to, who we want to pick blue, who's supposed to pick red. And then there's one tricky little one, the double agent assassin, or the assassin person.
And if you pick that, you
then
lose.
your team loses automatically. But the first team to get their team to come up with all the
double agent.
all the colored things on their map wins. Mm-hmm. Like I said, so I'd look at all the words if I was one of the operators, and I would say, let's say music 3. So I would tell them that music is the words that are related to out on the table, and there's at least 3 of them that I see. And then your team as a group starts with 1, and then I'd lay out a tile that says, yep, that's one of ours, or nope, that's one of theirs, or it's a neutral one, or it's the assassin. That could be a thumbnail too. And then whoever has it completed first wins. Codenames is super... You could honestly play it with more than 10 people, but I assume that the box just says, put a number. So, I suppose over 10 might get a little crazy, but...
Yeah.
But it's all ages. All the words, they're not terribly difficult, So, it's just... sometimes you might have to go like pet 2, pet 1. So, but it has. Did you see that? All the words just fell out. It has a really fun way to play with a lot of people. I think this one actually is called a party game. The number 1 party game. So, but anyway, that's our
Top 10
recommendations
list
for
games that could be played with a party that are not actually party games.
Yeah, higher player counts. If you have played any of these games, let us know in the comments. If there's other games that you know that play at higher player counts, let us know about those in the comments. I don't know why I didn't say that better. What else should they do?
Like and subscribe.
And hit the notification bell.
Perfect.
So you don't miss an episode.
So anyway, from us here at House Rules, we'll see you next time.
Bye.